We are live. Good morning, Kaizen. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, stick with this show. Keep watching. The economics chat is available. Let's welcome who's here. We have Kitasira here first. Ethan, Jakara, Grand Specs, Sean, Kane, Christina's, Lisa, good morning. Kevin, Shane, Stahu, Jack, Malik, good morning. Good morning. Now, if I don't say so myself, I believe this could be one of the more important, both tactical and strategic market updates that I've done since I started doing this with you guys. And here's why. First of all, they're selling the market today on an inflation number that comes out tomorrow, which is really funny. So they're going to price in the worst today. And as I noted yesterday, the market has been running and we get these legacy events and everyone freaks out and it lasts for a day, which is funny because they don't even want to wait for the release. They want to freak out today. Okay, so they can have fun with that, but this to me feels like a dip of epic proportions that's going to give you an opportunity to get in anywhere from Bitcoin, Ethereum, to any of these coins on base that we've been talking about. I mean, this could be a dip where you like push out some chips, right? You go, okay, let's go. For real, because it's very simple, right? Like if you can't watch the rest of the market update, let me give it to you straight up. This thing about the Fed keeping interest rates higher for longer is bunk. They're going to be cutting rates. The economy is weaker than anyone thinks. Any sense of that, and Bitcoin is not only going to 80, but it could wind up at 100. Even if it doesn't go to 100 and it just goes to 80, the normie world is going to start piling into the Bitcoin ETF and Coinbase like you don't know, like you've never seen. Okay, this narrative, like I know Brian has got the base narrative and he's got 3/4 of it. The part that I'm adding is that when the normie world figures out that if they don't own Bitcoin, they're going to underperform and possibly not even retire, because Larry Fink from BlackRock, we'll talk about this in the slideshow, is on CNBC going, you know what? I don't think people have enough money to retire. Parentheses, buy the Bitcoin ETF. And how ironic that the interview is being done with Kramer. This thing is set up for an absolute, in my opinion, not investment advice, for a volcanic rise. And when I show you an article that comes from a research department at a big place called State Street, you will know that this is not some theoretical analyst talk, particularly when it comes to the Fed. Okay. Okay. Dog Mama asking about the range for Bitcoin. We're going to talk about that. Okay. Lucas wants the short-term outlook for Bitcoin. The short-term outlook for Bitcoin is BTFD today or tomorrow after the inflation number. Wherever it is, just take it from them. That's my opinion. Miguel, Malik, hello, SG, an OG on this stream. Okay. Okay. That eclipse got my, that eclipse was something else yesterday in Texas. Del Capio is here. Welcome. Okay, news. Let's go. Okay, here he is. BlackRock telling you you haven't saved enough for retirement. Most people know this. This is like this and the U.S. government can continue borrowing indefinitely is the worst kept secret. Okay, note those mad money banners on the New York Stock Exchange floor. Not sure you saw that, but They went through quite the expense to get this done. Look at that, huh? How about that in the background of the New York Stock Exchange? Think Larry did a little paid promotion on this one. People, when these guys come in, right? Like I listened last night to a Twitter space that had Om Mantra DAO on it. When the general public comes into this market and they come in through the ETF and Coinbase, you're going to see price action that is mind-boggling. Matter of fact, I think we're going back to 2016 crypto price action, where this thing's just absolutely wild. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't. Everyone's looking for, it's been orderly, and that fits with the equity market mentality led by the Bitcoin ETF, the sector rotations, but we haven't seen anything wild. That's coming. Okay. For additional trivia, let's refresh this to see where we are. So at midnight last night, midnight Central Time, I make BlackRock on CNBC because all my Eclipse videos bombed. 21,000 views since midnight last night. The point. BlackRock is paying, he's got to be paying social media companies to promote anything with BlackRock, anything with Bitcoin. Just exploding views. Talk about anything else, meh. Talk about this, be a god. It's that simple. It really is. Now, it gets better. Speak your brains. Buy Bitcoin or sell or something or whatever, says Alphaville. 2/3 of consumers have little to no understanding about cryptocurrencies. So no understanding is light blue. A minimal understanding is dark blue. What do you think is going to happen when these people figure out that we need a new form of money? Like, I don't know. Sometimes in equities, we might call this, actually, let me not say that. There are a lot of new people who, when they come into crypto, they're not going to really understand what to do. Okay. And the first thing they're going to do is look at Bitcoin. They're going to look at the Bitcoin ETF. Now, when they look at Bitcoin, they're going to see the number, especially if it's 100, and they're immediately going to go to Litecoin, XRP, Doge, and Bitcoin Cash. Whether anyone likes those currencies fundamentally or not, Larry is telling you very clearly that they're coming. And he's going to make sure of it. Another note on BlackRock. Another note. First, they come out with the Bitcoin ETF. Then they come out with, we're going to tokenize everything, igniting the RWA space. Now they're out with this. What else have they got? This is called news flow. It's very typical in equities, right? You want to maintain a trend. You want to maintain something going on. You got to have regular announcements. BlackRock is 3 announcements in and everyone else is behind. Most people have made no announcements. Kathy Wood is out there going, Bitcoin, $1 million. Okay. But shouldn't you be talking about what happens if Bitcoin, you wake up one day and it goes to 100? You don't think Larry and friends can't jam it to 100? He's like warning you. He's telling you to get involved now. Okay. It gets better. Coinbase Layer 2 blockchain base surpasses $4 billion. Okay, I talked about my base epiphany yesterday. You can cash in and out of base through the Coinbase wallet. People, when normies figure this out, when they discover meme coins, like you've got Degen, which is a real project. Now you have Truflation, which is a real project. Okay. If you have one real project a week hitting base, what do you think the normie world is going to do when they finally figure out that they can basically trade on a DEX and NFTs from something that they can fund directly through Coinbase? You have no idea. Nobody has any idea of what is going to happen here, particularly if there's an issue with debt and sound money. Like the gold market is sounding the alarm. The normie world is coming. And man, they aren't going to know anything except the green button. Nothing. They're going to be like, oh my God, boom. This is going to be like FOMO on a scale, because it's not just FOMO because number go up. It's like FOMO, oh my God, I'm behind. I'm not involved. My retirement, right? And they're stoking it because look who's interviewing him. Mr. Get out of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is manipulating it. Yeah, whatever. Notice how they're double teaming it. Normies are coming. Central banks lower the bar for rate cuts. That is, as long as the data does not deliver a nasty surprise. People, they want to cut rates so bad, just give them an excuse. Meanwhile, investors in the bond market, right? Little legacy, we call this offside. So first it's like, oh, they're going to cut rates massively. Now we have to sell the market the day before the inflation number because booga, 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 it's too scary. Whatever. Right. So first they're going to cut rates every month, every meeting this year. That was the expectation in December. And now they're not going to cut rates at all. Just figure out what everyone thinks and do the opposite. Classic, right? Look at this. Falling loan demand builds rate cut pressure as ECB prepares to meet. Interest rates are the price of money. When the price of money is too high, no one wants it. No one wants to borrow money. There's no economic growth. It's that simple. There's your macroeconomics college course in 4 sentences. They got to cut rates. They have to. What is the gold market telling us? Well, the Fed's kind of painted into a corner. Inflation's not going anywhere, right? They can't raise rates, and they need to cut rates. That's what gold's telling us. And the overall level of government and private sector debt is totally unsustainable. There is going to be a problem. There's going to be a problem. Oh, look at that. On cue, in the Financial Times, the tree of debt must stop growing. Since the era of ultra-low interest rates, large-scale government borrowing is looking more and more problematic. Really? Government debt's problematic, and people haven't saved enough for retirement. Huh. Is there a solution to that? Yeah. It's called the green button on Coinbase. European ports are parking lots as the Chinese, who have excess industrial capacity, meaning they can't lay people off and close factories. So they sell cars at they make cars at a loss and just ship them out because they can't have mass unemployment in a socialist communist country. So they just build and build and build and build on printed money from the state and dump it somewhere. Who's buying this stuff? Where's the raging economy? Look at this parking lot. Look at this. What is that telling you? I mean, that just says everything. Okay, now I'm officially talking my book with DGen. Brazil's Darth Vader order. There he is. Whoever this is. Okay, this is some sort of Supreme Court justice, okay, saying that, we're going to issue an order for Elon Musk because they want Twitter shut off in Brazil because there's new governments in town. And lo and behold, there's talk that government came into power because our intelligence service helped them. So, it's like you can get, I looked at this last night. Warcrest, Dracula. Let me get the name right. Such a boomer. Warpcast, and Dracula. I'm getting on it. I mean, this they're trying to take this guy out just because he's allowing people to say what they want to say, not even realizing that freedom of speech is not freedom of reach. Like, you can say what you want on Twitter, but it's not like in olden days where you can stand up on a milk crate and shout something and then a lot of people can come listen to you. You just say something controversial on Twitter, unless you're a controversial account, it's not going anywhere. 10 days to the Bitcoin halving. Supply growth drops in half. This beats gold's number. Okay. USD down 1.7 right now. Normal range is 5 to 10%. When it reverts, Bitcoin goes ballistic. So this is Willy Woo, Bitcoin maximalist. I don't understand everything that he is saying here, but I don't think he's wrong. Because normies are not going to see the Bitcoin halving as sell the fact. Notice that Bitcoin, you know, like, okay, we're doing like the ooh and CPI trade today. Whatever. Normies are going to go, oh, Bitcoin is going up and they just reduced the supply. You better get yourself in. What do you think this is about? Do you think it's a coincidence that this is coming out like 10 days before the halving? Like, what's going to happen when Bitcoin goes above 80 and Larry and Kathy Wood and everybody is pounding the table? I mean, again, this concept of news flow is breathtaking. Meanwhile, back at the crypto native ranch, Bitcoin ordinals, rune punks, pups. I think there's a pup decorated in a Bitcoin costume that's trading at like 5 Bitcoin. This hasn't even started yet. And of course, Brian's got whatever he's talking about on base. That hasn't started yet. And everyone thinks Solana is dead. I don't think Solana is dead, although it was really interesting that I had problem getting $150 out of a Phantom wallet last night. Okay. The NFT thing is going to get started. I was just, listening to a Twitter space about somebody talking about an NFT launch pad, because last round, there were all these big projects that raised all this money and didn't do anything with it. Now the NFT world is trying to get their act together. And of course, it would be funny if the whole NFT thing exploded on Bitcoin, because that would be the most hated rally, right? What goes up? What people don't own, what they hate. They either don't own it, they hate it, they don't understand it, okay? Or they can't get access to it, which is, what the normie world is going to notice when they're like, oh, where's Bitcoin pups? Like, well, how do I get involved? They don't know, which is classic. I mean, this is where the crypto native people benefit. Okay, that didn't come up. Crypto stocks gain as Bitcoin tops 72K for the first time since March. Noticing how crypto equities are getting hammered today after being up yesterday. Galaxy Digital down 13% before the stream. Everyone panicking. I was in a stock trading space. Everyone's like, oh my God, we've had 1% fluctuations in S&P in the last week. Oh my God, NVIDIA is down. Oh, wait, it's coming back. People, the market is handing you your future. They're handing it to you because they're all coming. I mean, it's been announced. They're all coming. This I can't believe. Crypto survey shows less consumer skepticism, but 1/3 of the people expect the price to fall. Now, if this is not your first cycle, or if it is, let's go back to 2021 when Bitcoin was trading at 70K. Bitcoin went to 65, then it came off, then it went to 70. And when it was at 70, everyone thought it was going to 100. It was going up forever. Oh my God, I was at Bitcoin Miami. It was the first crypto conference since the pandemic. It was like literally the who's who of crypto. Everybody was there. That was at 70. In contrast, yeah, okay, maybe I need to own it, but it's going to go down. I'll buy a dip. I'll get it later. This is a recipe for 100. 100. Okay. Let's see who else we got here. Like, I'm keeping it short, sweet, to the point. You know, this is LFG and FA. That's my attitude on this whole thing today. All right. Let's see where my stream is. Okay. So we have ME is here. Could you also talk GBTC, the withdrawals, and where that will be in the next 6 months? All right. Well, people, I definitely appreciate your faith in me. I can't predict anything like GBTC. Here's what I can tell you. Grayscale, the people who own GBTC, are spending massive amounts of money in advertising to try and stop the outflows from the GBTC product going to ETFs. Their solution, and they're already doing it, they're going to have the equivalent product. So it's not an ETF, it's a trust. They're just going to expand what they're doing. Like, the outflows from Grayscale may continue in Bitcoin, but they're going to launch Chainlink products, Litecoin products, XRP products. I mean, when the guy from XRP came out yesterday and said he sees total crypto market cap at 5 trillion, how does that happen exactly? Without XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink, all these like Cardano, all these top Doge, oh my God, all these top 10 projects inside ETFs. This is going to happen. Or they're going to be inside Grayscale GBTC equivalent. So everyone's like, oh my God, GBTC is selling. So what? BlackRock is hoovering all of that up. That matter of fact, I think you got to start getting Bitcoin off exchanges. I mean, generally speaking, you're supposed to do that. You got to hurry up. If Bitcoin goes to 100, every app other than Coinbase is going to be the only app that has Bitcoin. PayPal, Cash App, all these places. Also keeping in mind that PayPal has a stable coin, and that has not been discussed. When people go crypto native and start playing around with a PayPal stable coin, they go, oh, I can buy Bitcoin with my PayPal stable coin. I mean, it's like QE for crypto. It's like QE. Okay. Kaizen says, I am not a boomer. Thank you. I am not a boomer in crypto, but my perspective comes from, other places. So I use the boomer as a joke, right? Because again, there's not that many old guys in crypto. There's not a lot of 50-year-old guys in crypto. There's Novogratz at Galaxy Digital. I'd have a much nicer YouTube studio if I had his money, and maybe one day I will. Marco says, I don't have that much capital to invest. Is it a smart idea to invest in altcoins right now? He's got a list: Rarible, True, Arrow, Sol instead of Bitcoin. Okay. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that before we go to PowerPoint. Bitcoin is probably going to go to 80. It might go to 100. 80 to me feels obvious, and it's not investment advice. Now, if you love the base narrative, it is a total joke once the normie world comes to Coinbase that ETH is trading below its all-time high, and they still can't get it past 3,700. So if I didn't know what to do, I would do ETH, right? Arrow is a great project, right? In other words, if they slam the market, if you did ETH, Arrow, and DGen, that's one way to do it. I did DGen and ETH personally, right? So that's not investment advice. Things like Rarible and Solana, right? So Solana they have a network problem. Historically, that's been a great time to buy Solana. Okay. But the ETH has got the base narrative, and ETH has underperformed for so long. I would do ETH over Solana. So if I couldn't do anything, right, my choice is, well, let's put it this way. Let me tell you what I bought recently, because I set something up so that I could buy it in this little, container. So I could say, this is what I did. ETH, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, KeyCat, and DGen. And if I had extra money, I would probably do Arrow. That's what I would do. Okay, let's go to PowerPoint. This is not investment advice. Okay, so here's me at 15.2K talking Larry's book indirectly. Okay, don't underestimate this. Now, this is the story of the day. State Street, which is a giant asset manager like BlackRock, has come out today with news on Bloomberg terminals for institutions. So in other words, people with Bloomberg News can't see this if you just have a subscription. This is only news for people with the terminals as of now. A terminal as in Bloomberg is essentially a software product that literally has everything, right? It's like, it's I don't know. I can't even explain it. It's like TradingView on steroids. It's not just charts. It's got everything, literally. State Street Global Advisors is bucking the recent hawkish shift in market consensus by saying the Fed will cut rates 50 basis points as soon as June. Now, why would an asset manager say something like that? Do they know that there's a problem out there? Oh, you bet they do. By the end of the year, the firm expects reductions of up to 150 basis points, 2.5 times what the market currently expects. Okay. And State Street down here maintains the economy is not as strong as it seems, with indicators like credit card delinquencies and the cost of credit to small businesses pointing towards a downturn later this year. There's a lot to suggest that there is a very fragile recovery, despite the fact it continues to look resilient on the surface. A classic motto of the intelligence community when they were still the good guys. Nothing is what it seems. This is why we have shows like the Market Update. Because everyone on CNBC is like, oh my God, sell everything, the inflation number. Oh God. Meanwhile, State Street standing down there. You think State Street is the only firm that knows this? They're the only firm that's publishing it, noticing how they're publishing it when everybody is selling it like a bunch of dummies the day before the inflation number. They may know the CPI number. Yeah, don't think hedge funds don't know these things before they come out. Don't think that. This is monster news. This is Bitcoin at 150. This is Bitcoin at 100K. You have 150 base points. You have, 3 or 4 huge rate cuts this year. That's 100K. And now with this article out, it can happen like that. It can go crazy. So whatever you're going to do in this market, right? So somebody just said, I don't have a lot of money. Okay, well, you don't have to put it all in, but get something in, because time in the market matters. Even if they smack this thing all day long, I don't care. I don't want you to lose money. I want you to use risk management. We got traders in the group, but this smells like get involved now. This smells like people selling the market for the wrong reasons. 3,900 on ETH. So when in doubt, zoom out, they say. So we're telling me that ETH with the base narrative is not going to take out simply the point where the bear market started from. The bear market started around 3,700. 3,900, according to DeMark work. DeMark is a person who developed a quantitative system that essentially what it does is it tells you where you are in a trend. Beginning, the middle, a possible transition point, a top, a bottom. This was the Celsius top. This is 3,900 in ETH. And this is the last 2 months with everyone selling ETH. Sell, 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 sell. And these were the 2 months before FTX where everyone was like, buy, 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 buy. And then it went straight down for 3 months. So buy, buy, sell, 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 buy, buy, buy. 3 months. Vertical. When ETH goes, it goes. Don't believe me? Go get a chart from the last cycle. Like this is ETH last cycle. 2021, 6 months, right? Up only. Just up only. Either does nothing or just goes straight up. You don't think this can happen with the base narrative simultaneously with a Solana network outage? Oh my God. I mean, it was like, can you imagine what happens if you have Bitcoin and Ethereum both going up at the same time with retail and institutions chasing both? I mean, if I was in an elevator, that's what I would tell people. Hey, Bill, what's the market update for today? Can you imagine Bitcoin and Ethereum both going up at the same time with retail and institutions chasing both? And then imagine people, with ETH at 4,700 or 5,000, how much purchasing power they have to go into base. Okay, IBIT, the Bitcoin ETF. So I just noticed something. Obviously IBIT is a stock market product, so they're not open 24 hours a day. So, Bitcoin is obviously all over the place 24/7. And what I've noticed is that when you have gaps in the Bitcoin ETF, right? So this is a case where, IBIT went down, then Bitcoin recovered. So by the time IBIT opened the next day, there was a gap. And of course, you're going to have a lot of gaps on these charts, right? Lots of gaps. But look what happens. You gap, and then you come back and you fill the gap right here. And even this one, you have a little gap. And what do? You go back and fill it, right? You have a gap, right? What do? You come back and fill it. You have a gap. This thing tried to come back and fill it. You have a gap here. They come back and fill it. You had a gap yesterday. They go down. They come back and fill it. Isn't it funny that when they gap it up, the Bitcoin ETF turns around and fills the gap? Isn't that interesting, right? They gap it up, they get away from everybody, and then it comes back down. They gap it up, and then it comes back down. They gap it up, and then it comes back down. Does that feel like manipulation to you? Does that feel like they're scared of having it run to 100? So when they got to buy, everyone's worried about what Grayscale is doing when they sell it. It could be Grayscale selling. And it could also be like someone going, oh, thank God. Let's keep it down so we can get retail to sell us everything. Let's scare everybody. Meanwhile, what happens when the gaps don't get filled? What happens when they start rallying Bitcoin during regular market hours? At some point, Grayscale is going to run out of ammo. They're going to run out of selling. They're going to run out of Bitcoin to sell. And what happens? You're going to start rallying Bitcoin in market hours, right? And when that happens, you get 100 or some crazy number, whatever that number is. It's going to be above 80, in my opinion. Bitcoin on DeMark. So DeMark will assign a number to a bar. So if the high is higher than the high 2 days ago, it'll get a number. And you'll count those numbers from 1 to 9. There's one set, and then there's another set from 1 to 13. Okay. So the green numbers go from 1 to 9. And the way the theory works is when you're going in a particular direction, when you get to the fourth bar, you should get a counter trend dip. Oh, wow, look what we got here. We went 1, 2, 3, and now we're doing a dip on 4. What do you know? That basically unwounds the last 2 days, stops everyone out, only to see this thing turn around, price in the worst case scenario, and then do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up days, theoretically. Not selling it down here. If anything, it's like, I want to get involved. ETH, the same thing. Ooh, oh no. ETH went to a resistance point at 3,700. I better get out. Please. It will be a joke one day when people will like, wow, ETH was at 3,500. And I'm perfectly willing to pay $7,000 for ETH so I can get involved in base, because that is what happened in 2020. That is the part that could repeat from the last cycle. People were paying $300, $700 in gas to get into trades on Uniswap. Everyone's having a meltdown about $72 or $5 or $30. People, there were zeros on the end of these things back in 2020 and 2021. They're going to have no problem paying $7,000 for ETH. They're going to pay any price to get involved on base, because people need retirement, people need life-changing money, and the normies can go in there with cash and go out with cash, all in the Coinbase wallet. You got a Coinbase account? No problem. You got ETH on base with cash. Boom. You got to cash out. Boom. When normies see this, they're going to go crazy. And they're not going to care what they pay for stuff. They're not. Matter of fact, they're going to look at things like Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash and be like, ooh, I can get a whole coin. I can get 2 Litecoin. They're going to do it. It's stupid. I know it's stupid, but they're going to do it. Okay, so here's Litecoin, right? There's a DeMark point at 97. There's this 13 and the 9 signal, which can indicate a bottom. These are the levels where you would expect a selling climax or a puke or a stop fishing exercise, and they're just handing it to you right before the inflation number. Litecoin, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like its fundamentals. You don't have to like it on a blockchain. You don't have to like it. It doesn't have to be this. It could be Arrow. It could be any of these things that are on Coinbase, like Rarible. I like this because I want to be long money because of all those news articles I gave you. I read news article after news article after news article. Money, right? Crypto as digital cash, crypto as money. The tech part, the meme coins, all that stuff will be done in alts and then probably on base, right? And DEXs and Bitcoin DEXs, right? But where can you do money the fastest? On Coinbase. And if Bitcoin goes to 100, what does that tell you about they're selling it with reckless abandon. Now, Bitcoin Cash, which has a mind of its own, everything was going up yesterday. Bitcoin Cash was going down. Bitcoin Cash is trying to rally. I'm telling you right now, if Bitcoin Cash takes out 700, right? They're afraid of 700. If they're not afraid of 700 anymore, it's going to 1100. And I'm not afraid to talk about 4,000 long term. I mean, somebody I know on Twitter is like putting out, the difference between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin is that Bitcoin has a yellow logo and Bitcoin Cash has a green logo. That's pretty funny. And you can't say, oh, everyone's coming to Coinbase and then say, oh yeah, well, they're going to be smart. They're not going to buy this stuff. Oh yeah, they are. They can do it via PayPal. They're going to do it. Especially since 1/3 of them, what did that survey say? Huge group of people doesn't know anything. Another huge group of people only knows something. And then the only thing they're going to know when they come in is that they need to get involved. Meanwhile, Solana being sold with reckless abandon, right? There's a 13 bottom. There's a 9 bottom. I thought Solana was going to hold 175. I thought this was good here. And then they just blasted it, which is somewhat typical. Now, Solana or Ethereum, which one would I pick after seeing base? I would say Solana. I'm sorry, Ethereum. Right. Now, Solana will fix the network. There will be a massive NFT mania on Solana for sure. For sure. Brian says there's going to be an NFT mania on base. That seems logical. Right. But the crypto native community and this NFT thing has already started with the Bitcoin pups and Rune punks. Like it's on. Like that's your Bored Ape and that could be your Bored Ape and your crypto punks all over again. And it's going to happen on Solana. But right now, Solana's getting creamed because ETH is just, I think you go back to Solana when ETH is above 4,000. That's when you go back into Solana. And this goes back, and I'm not hating on this, but Solana is going down because it's a consensus long position. It's not going down because they had problems with the network. It's going down because it's over-owned, right? ETH is under-owned, Solana's over-owned. So they're going to like shift that, and then Solana can go back up again. Because again, the main value proposition for Solana is not meme coins, it's that phone. Just remember that. Especially when they're selling it at 170. Like 170 is stupid. And if they get more stupid, well, okay, then take it from them. The upside is in ETH. The long-term play is for that mobile phone on Solana. Coinbase's stock. If this follows, this is the inverse of the bear market. There should be a strong move up in Coinbase, followed by a range, followed by another massive move up in June. That's just a guess, right? This adds to my theory that I like the idea of some massive positive event happening in Coinbase. Okay, I have a couple altcoins in the charts, but I'm going to save that. Let's see who's here. Okay, some people are like, somebody wants Velo. Okay, so let's do that. Red ink everywhere. Okay. Okay, so obviously someone wants this because it's not even down today. So on all these base coins, right, on all these massive momentum plays, I think we got to draw the Fibonacci extension work. We talked about this yesterday, or at least I did. I do so much talking, it's hard to remember who heard what, truthfully. Okay, so Velo has resistance at 0.015, right? And that's the 618 of this Fibonacci extension structure. So what I have seen is, things stop at either the 618 or the 1618 to take a break. Most likely, this is the pause that refreshes. People, when you hit these levels, you have to expect some kind of correction. Like the AI stocks all hit this. I'm not upset about it. I'm not. Okay, fetch. Okay, so everyone has started to get upset in the AI stocks. Okay. Because they're not moving. And we've discussed this before, that the market moves in sectors. And that's still true. I mean, I'm expecting some sort of wild move, but that may be only in future of money stuff. Now, eventually it's all going to spill over into everything, because, you could have a 12-week rampage, and you probably will have a 12-week rampage. You know why? Because everyone's getting out. Everyone's freaking out. Why? So fetch stops at the 1618 at $3. So they're afraid of $3 and they're selling it. Okay. They're selling it today. Now, if this turns into a disaster, okay. If it turns into a disaster, it'll go down to $1.93. Okay. I don't want to act like it can't go down. Crypto can always go down. The question is, are you going to freak out? And I would discourage that. Risk management is one thing. Like if you bought exactly on this wick, okay, you might have to do some risk management on your trade. But if that's not what you did, why is everybody running away after what State Street just said? Look up State Street. They're like Vanguard, BlackRock. I mean, they just told everybody. So why is everyone selling AI stocks? Why is everyone selling AI coins? There's a shortage of computing power for AI. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Right? I mean, again, risk management, and knowing when there's like a shakeout, when this whole market is leaning off sides, ocean, right? Now, I would imagine this would be much of the same, right? So I can go to like an 89-minute look, like Look what they've done to this. Everybody who bought the initial ramp up, remember the whole thing about filling the gaps from the Bitcoin ETF? Yeah, everyone buys it. Okay. And then what are they going to do? They're going to try to stop everyone out, right? Everybody who bought it, everybody who bought this ramp, everyone who bought this dip, they're trying to put pressure on you. And if they run the stops, there's going to be someone down there who's going to take all your crypto, and then it's going to go, Fetch is going to probably wind up at $1.93. This is Ocean, sorry. Don't sell your crypto to BlackRock. Manage your risk, but don't sell your crypto to BlackRock. Don't. They're standing down there waiting for it. They're waiting for you down there. Okay. So that is the bottom line. Let me just stop sharing. Look, if the base network is real, if that narrative is real, which of course in this group we know it is, if that's real, then the Coinbase narrative is real. Bitcoin at 100 is not being talked about. But State Street just talked about 3 rate cuts. So do the reverse engineering. Nobody thinks rate cuts are happening. What happens if there are 3 rate cuts, and where does that put Bitcoin and all your positions? Right? Okay, last question. Where do you think Bitcoin could drop down to in the next bear market? Okay. So I don't know. I don't think you're ever going to see Bitcoin below 40 again. And this is typical in a bull market where people start wishing for the bear market. Don't wish for the bear market. It's a good question, but don't wish for the bear market. Okay. People say that kind of stuff because they think that they've missed out. Like, they see somebody who bought something at a penny and sold it for $2, and they're like, I missed it. You haven't missed anything if this is a multi-year generational wealth creating opportunity over time. You haven't missed anything. Again, final word. Musk paid $44 billion for Twitter, and DGen has a $500 million market cap. We'll see you tomorrow.